Okay, so today I'm going to be working with paper pad called Beach Hut from Craft Consortium, and we'll flip through it before I get started. And I'm also going to be using a sketch. This one is from Sketch and Scrap. So last week we did Scrap and Sketch, and this week we're doing Sketch and Scrap. So this particular group I have linked. I also have these pictures of Miss Amelia when she was a baby and just when she first started like enjoying playtime and sitting up and doing all the things. So those are the ones I'm working with. This is probably hard to see on camera, but there she is in the corner there, and there's her brother. And then this one, they're kind of sitting together. Still that side-by-side play, but hanging out together. And hi, Shauna. Good to have you here. So this is the paper pad I'm going to be working with. It is in the store. It is $22.65, and it is basically an entire rainbow of wood grain, which, like, two of my very favorite things, you know, in the whole wide world. So I was like, I have to have that, obviously. So we'll just flip through it real quick. I'm just going to move this stuff off to the side so it's out of the way. And then we'll talk a little bit about, like, what do you do with an entire paper pad full of wood grain papers? I have some ideas. Okay, so it's a medium cardstock, I would say. And then this is the other side of the red. Isn't that pretty? They're so pretty. Okay, and then I'll just skip the ones that are the same. This is the next one. So this has like, this reminds me of like the side of a shed, like, because it has the narrow wood and then the bigger one here. And then there's this one. It's a little bit of a more maroon kind of color. And then we have this beautiful, beautiful combination. So we have a pink wood grain. Do you see how I like to touch the paper? Like, I don't know, is it gonna feel like wood grain? No. Good thing, because I'd probably get a sliver. And then this like rainbowy one that's like, wouldn't this be pretty with baby photos? The pink, yellow, and blue. So pretty. Or summer sunshine. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Did I miss one? I feel like I missed one. Oh, the pink is the back of this maroon color. That's why. So this is the single piece of paper. So this side, and then this is the back, which is another kind of rainbowish, but in a different style, different colors. Hi, Manya. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. And we have some more pink and blue, but this time it's got a little bit more rich, deeper colors. So this one has like a brown, gray, white. So pretty. And then we have purple. I don't love, there's not enough purple in scrapbooking, hey? So this paper has purple on one side, and then it has this, it's kind of like a mint green and a white on the other side. This would be so pretty for a lot of like summer and beach collections. And wouldn't this go nice with, what's that one I was using the other day? Main Character Energy. Yep, lots of purple in that, so that would go good. Okay, and then our next one is this. It's like Kelly green kind of, so like it reminds me of like St. Patrick's Day, this one. It looks a little more faded on camera than it is in real life. The color's a bit more rich in like when I'm looking at it in person. Also, again, it's dark out because, you know, we live in the north. It's always dark. It's dark when I go to work. It's dark when I come home from work. Hi, Debbie. Yay, you're here. That's awesome. And then we have like a turquoise color on this side. And it's a little bit more distressed looking than this other one. And then we have this deep like yellow color, very saturated yellow. And it's in two different, it's the same color, but it's two different patterns. So this one has like a wider board pattern and this one's more narrow. The next one is this kind of like a bunch of different wood together. looks like something you'd find like if you go to like Fort Edmonton Park and they have like older buildings there with all the different kinds of faded colors of wood. And then this one has like almost like an ombre where it goes from like this deep saturated turquoise to a green to like a, this one has some almost patina color in it, and then it goes to the brown. So pretty. And then we have this one, which is like this beautiful, I actually used this the other day. This beautiful turquoise color. And then on the other side is, this one almost reminds me of, this would go really well with a winter collection because it's white, but it's got blue tones in it, like almost silvery. And then we have this deep, rich aqua color and this deep rich royal blue. It's not quite navy, but it's royal for sure. And then we have this one, which is this very deep royal blue, and then this one that's navy and white. So we're gonna answer the question, what do you do with this beautiful paper pad besides just admire it and look at it because it's so pretty? So one of the things that I thought this would be really good for is making some kind of a rainbow. So I pulled a layout that I had made a while back that's a rainbow, and this goes with another idea I had, is that if you want to back a cut file, there's a lot of colors in here, so if you want to make it colorful. So anything that would be rainbow, because there are so many beautiful colors and because they're all wood grain, it would look very cohesive. So any kind of rainbow pattern. This is a cut file from Cut to You, but you don't have to have a cut file machine to make a rainbow, right? You just need to like find something that's arced and trace it over and over. Yeah. So a rainbow is one of the ideas I had. Another one is this idea, and this is from a class that I taught at the store about washi tape. So this is actually washi in this one, but I thought, wouldn't it be pretty if you took a strip of each of these papers and did the same kind of idea where you have like this heart shape in like all the different wood grain colors? I think that would be so pretty. So those are a couple of project ideas I had, if you want to just use this paper pad for something. The other idea I had would be like make a mini album with it, or like if you buy those photo play mini albums from Joe's store, these would be really pretty to cover it in. Making journaling blocks or tags, or I think they'd be really pretty for card bases or card fronts, I guess is more what I mean. But the things that I'm going to do with this particular collection, because I am primarily a scrapbooker, is I will probably at some point make a rainbow, and I will probably use it to back a cut file. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole paper pad apart. I won't do that on here because that's boring viewing, I suppose, probably. But I'm going to take the whole paper pad apart and I am going to add it to already existing collections. So for example, Simple Vintage Seas, I have still quite a bit of it, and I'm going to add this one to it because I feel like it'll go really, really well with the colors in there and the theme, right? I think I mentioned it already, but this purple one, where did the purple one go? The purple one I think I'm going to add to my main character energy. And then I'll probably add like this red barnwood one to the, I have like that farmhouse kind of collection. And then I'll probably see what other collections, as I'm flipping through those ones that I already know what I want to add to. I'll probably find other ones that I want to add them into, right? And then so once I've got them into collections, I'm also going to throw a bunch of them into my rainbow of backgrounds. So I have like a paper rack, you know, like you find in the store, one of those wire racks, and it just has like a rainbow of background or like monochromatic kind of papers, so that when I'm looking for like a certain color if I ran out of something, or I'm, you know, looking for a specific color, or I want a background sheet, I can go to that rainbow of colors. So that's probably where this will go. I also have a selection of wood grain patterns. So some of the more, like this one would probably go, it doesn't fit into any one color of background, so it would probably go in with my wood grain patterns. Okay, now for today I wanted to show the other way that I would think that this is a very useful kind of paper pad is that I have leftovers. So does this ever happen to you where you're like, I loved this collection so much as this color study from Vicki Boutin. Let me just close this so that it's, well, maybe I'll leave it open, but I'll leave it open to some colors that sort of speak to what I mean. So this collection I loved, and I used a ton of it. Obviously, I think I got this later. I think that's why. But yeah, this is all I have left of the paper. And I actually don't even know if this is from that collection. I actually think it might be from another one, but I had put it in there because I was using it with that. So this is all I have. But I have all of these embellishments. And so I had just thrown them in with my other Vicki Boutin stuff because Vicki Boutin often uses bright, bold, beautiful colors. And I figured she'll come out with another collection that I can use this with. That's what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use this as my color inspiration for like what colors do I want to pull from the paper pad and make a layout with my color study stuff and my measly scraps of color study papers. Okay, so that's where we're going to go from here. I am going to start by choosing a background sheet because all of those are too small of scraps to be backgrounds. Now let me just maybe... what do I want to be my inspiration here? Well, here, how about we do this because I didn't use much of that. I'm sorry about the glare. I hate that I can't film during daylight hours. Okay, so let's see. I'm thinking because it's Little Miss Emmy and she is a princess, that I might do a pink or a turquoise background. I actually really like this one, this turquoise one here, so that's an option. And then I also wanted to look at the pink. What was the pink like? Does it go with this? See, it's a little bit more muted than the pink in here, but I think it would still be really pretty. I could also do something like this. That's a little bit more colorful, but I think we're gonna get a lot of color. So I'm gonna pull this one because it definitely goes with that turquoise color there. So that, and then I'm going to pull this one because I really like that. And then do I want another pink? Do I want this pink? This deep kind of pinkish color, or do I want to go with a something different? Green maybe? Don't think I like that combination. So I think I'm going to just stick with the pink. Here we go. And yes, these are two different pinks here. This pink is different from this pink. But if you look in this like arrow piece right here, there's two different shades of pink as well. I don't know. Can you even see that? There we go. So much glare. Okay. That paper and this, and that's what we're going to start with. So here is the sketch. Now, guys, I'm bringing out some like old school scrapbooking ideas here because I was like, how can I make sure that this is for everybody? Because this particular sketch has like a circle element in it. So I am using a circle paper. But what if you don't have a circle paper, right? What if you don't have a circle cutter or a Cricut, and you're like, well, I don't want to sketch with a circle in it because Man, I can't afford a $350 Cricut. I don't know how much they are anymore, but I know they're expensive. So here's my handy dandy idea. Are you ready? Trace a paper plate. So, or it doesn't have to be paper. I just pulled the paper one because it was light and easy and convenient. But this would totally work, right? If you trace around this and cut it out and use that as your circle piece. Or a big doily, if you have big doilies. Joe has some really pretty vintage ones in the store. They're so pretty. And they're huge. So that is my high-tech circle cutting idea. There you go. Top tips. So I'm just going to use for mine, for both time and because we are keeping things simple here and trying to keep it down to an hour or less, if possible. But I can be pretty long-winded, so I'm not making any big promises. And I'm just using black soot, Tim Holtz Distress Ink, along the edges, because in this collection, and I do often take my color choices, inking choices, that sort of thing from the collection. So if, you know, the neutral is gray, then I'll use gray. If the neutral is brown, I'll use brown. If the neutral is black, I'll use black. And sometimes if they're really bright collections and they don't seem to have a neutral, I will use a bunch of the bright colors, or I'll just go with a light gray because then it still does what I want it to do, but it doesn't make a big statement either. Okay, so there, so we can remember what we're using. And Joe has huge selection of Tim Holtz inks in the store. If you want to just buy the little one and then buy the refill, that'll work too. This is by far probably the one I use the most, is the black soot. I have the re-inker for it because I bought 2 ink pads before cluing into the fact that probably be more cost effective in the end to use, this is not what I want. I want blue. In the end to just use the re-inker, but I'm a little slow sometimes, so there's my next hot tip. Don't buy 2 ink pads before realizing the re-inker is probably the solution. So there we go. Now it looks like, now I have this problem pretty much every time I combine collections, but 12 is not 12 is not 12. So we just cut that off. They're never all the same size. So this has a little bit of a sliver on the edge. I'm just going to cut it down. The American Crafts one was bigger than the Craft Consortium one by about this much, just a hair. Just a little sliver. But yeah, aren't these wood grains so pretty? You can do so many things with them. I just think, they're under recognized as being as amazing as they are. And you know what I'm thinking now that I'm looking at this? This piece is too big for me. So I'm probably going to lift it up and cut it down, because look at how small it is in the sketch. It's like just a narrow little piece, and I was thinking it's okay to be bigger because I want mine to go all the way up to the top. But now that I'm looking at it on here, I'm like, that's not what I want. So I'm going to take about 2 inches off of that. And I do this often. That this tape glider is not, like, the adhesive that I use doesn't stick permanently, like, right away. Where is my paper trimmer? Oh, I put it away. Oh no, don't do that. So yeah, I'm not worried too much about putting things down and picking things up, but you would want to worry about that if you were using like a wet glue. So I know there's a lot of people who I watch on YouTube and whatnot, that's their kind of their go to or whatever, and they tend to just lay things down and then plan out their whole layout and then glue everything at the end. And that's not my process, so you just get to watch me pick things up, put things down, tuck things, lift things up to tuck things in. That's how I roll. Okay, so there we go. We have our first piece at the top, our half, not half, but our piece of a circle. Now it has this like almost like a present look where it's got like the box and then the lid. That's what it looks like to me. So I'm going to create that. Where did I get the tape gun? I got this at Michael's. So Jo doesn't tend to carry tools that you can buy at Michael's just because she can't compete with the prices. But I haven't seen these there in a really long time. So if you're interested in one and they don't have them at Michael's, ask Jo because she can order stuff like that in for you. So she doesn't carry a ton of tools either just because of the size of the store, right? So like, for example, I wanted a punch for my memory decks cards. And of course, we don't carry a lot of punches in the store just because they take up so much space. So she ordered it for me, and then, yeah, that's how I got it. Okay, so my bottom piece here, I want to be this. Do I want it to be this one? This color on the bottom. And then this across here. You're welcome, Debbie. So I'm going to cut this down. Let me think about what size I want. I think I want about 11. I'm going to guess like a 6. And I can always cut it down if it's too big. And then I'm just going to cut 1 inch off of this side. There we go. Yeah, that looks about right. So I am going to ink the edges of this one. And I'm just eyeballing where the center might be of that. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut about 1.5 inches. Now, I'm kind of thinking that I want some black in there. Let me see if I have a scrap of black cardstock hanging out nearby. Yeah, I think I'll like that. Okay. And actually, here I go again. Watch, I'm lifting things up. I want black around this one too. So, I just think the black will define it a little bit. And I really like how it makes colors pop. So, let me see. This is painted piece for that. Okay. So then I'm just going to cut like a little bit of an edge there. I always like the way that black looks with bright colors. And this particular color study collection from Vicki Boutin does exactly that. So it's pretty inspiring for this sort of thing. Oops. And see, does it matter that I tore that piece of paper? No, because it's all going to be covered up. There we go. Well, this is just like a scrap. And I'm going to ink the edges of this first. And the black ink does give it that look a little bit, but it doesn't make it pop in the same way that the black cardstock will. Hopefully you'll see what I mean when I'm all done here. Saw that coming. Okay, so my apologies, but I'm gonna have to change my tape. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a strip here, and I'm gonna just cut that one off because it's showing too much of the white, but there we go. Oh, yeah, there's that too, right? Sometimes if you're crafting along, you're not paying attention. I do sometimes, though, like to have crafty videos on in the background, because it feels like I'm at a crop. So I like to hear other people talk about their crafting while I'm crafting. But then other times I don't want to do that. I sometimes have been listening to a lot of audiobooks, which I discovered I really loved during the pandemic because I was working online so much, my eyes would get tired and I couldn't read, and I was like, but I want to read. So I started listening to audiobooks, and that seemed to solve my problem, and I started to realize that I really like that I can listen to them while I'm driving. I can listen to them while I'm folding laundry. I can listen to them while I'm scrapbooking. So that's been something that I've had on in the background. What do you guys listen to? You skipped the Secret Santa? Oh. Scared you? That's funny. You listen to audiobooks too? Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't realize how lovely they are, but yeah, it's one way to get through doing an unpleasant task too. Like if I turn on my book while I'm cleaning the bathroom, it feels less like a chore. There we go. I think I'm gonna go right there. Okay, so this piece did not stick down, so I'm just gonna, oh, I'm a little scared of this wet glue. I think I refilled it, and I think I added a bit too much water. Because if I don't put a little bit of water, it doesn't come through the nozzle, like this really narrow nozzle. But then when I was shaking it up, I'm like, that sounds a little liquidy, but it's not too bad. And I just have to make sure I put the lid back on, because these teeny tiny nozzles are lovely for like finicky work, but they also clog super, super easy. Okay, so that is the start to my layout. I also chose a sketch. The reason that I even went with this sketch actually was because I know that a lot of my crafty friends are diehard 4x6 photo people. And so I was like, this sketch is perfect for that because it has 3 4x6 photos. So it's not just one photo, which I find I tend to gravitate towards when I am using one photo. I will typically like shy away from using multiple photos, especially if I'm designing my own layout, but I really liked that this one had multiples. So what I am going to do though is I'm going to cut my, what are these? Photo mats. Boy, words are hard, guys. Sorry. I'm going to cut my photo mats at 4x6 and then just trim a little bit off my photos. And that way I can have, make sure I have enough space. Because it doesn't look like I don't want to have too much, too much of everything just covered up. Although these photos can use to have stuff cut off of them because they're like huge. Kind of like, I do want all the toys and stuff in them, but it doesn't have to be the whole thing, right? And this one I can cut off like a little bit of the puppy. You can still see her. She loves the toy room as much as the kids, and they have to block it off when they're leaving the house because she'll eat all the toys. She doesn't eat them when they're there, though. She just doesn't like being left alone, I think. And can't believe they were ever that tiny. They grow up so fast, hey? This was only a couple of years ago. They're just little pumpkins in these pictures. And now they're monsters. Perfect angels, in Grandma's opinion. Libby is free through the library. And yeah, you know what is so sad about that? I only recently discovered Libby. I have been paying ridiculous prices for... I actually have... You know what, though? I have to say, because I'm such a cheapskate, my Audible membership, I have been really reading a lot of or listening to a lot of the free books that they have on there. So, like, things that I probably wouldn't normally have picked up have led me to other interesting series. And then things like Sense and Sensibility was free on there, and I tried War and Peace, but I couldn't get into it. I don't know. I thought I won't be able to read it, but I could listen to it. Nope, couldn't do that either. Just not my kind of story, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I only just discovered Libby, and when I was looking through it, I'm like, they had 3 books that I had literally just bought, and I was like, oh, hurt in my heart a little. But yes, thank you. That is so true. And they have actually quite a selection, hey? I was impressed with how much was in there. So I'm looking forward to a few more options, because there was times too where I would like be waiting. You don't know anyone who's made it through War and Peace. Well, yeah, I mean, I tried. I gave it a good go during the pandemic, but just never happened. And then I tried it again recently, because I was like, I had listened to a series that was like similar in that it was like historical war times, but nah, it just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's supposed to be a masterpiece. I don't know. But my brother always thinks that I have like terrible taste and stuff like that anyways. Like, have you ever seen the movie Clockwork Orange? It's one of his favorites. Libby is, yeah, it's a library app. So check with your local library if they have an app where you can listen. Like, you still take your book out just like you would from the library, but you do it all on your phone. It's very cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he thinks like Clockwork Orange is like the best movie ever, and I just think that movie is so creepy and bizarre, and I don't know, very Pavlovian. I didn't like it. And he's like, it's so well written, and I'm like, nah, I don't know. We have very differing opinions. Maybe I should get him to try War and Peace and see if he gets through it. Maybe he would. He's read all of the Shakespeare, so who knows? Okay. This one was in my scraps because I got some cardstock for free, but some of it had like paint around the edges, and I'm like, well, I can use it like scrap wise, and it's gone such a long way. I'm glad I didn't throw it all out, because sometimes I do that too. This is so much more smooth. I usually use the knockoff version of the ATG tape because I cheap. But this one is from my mom's craft room and actually goes on very smoothly. Okay, so here is my base layout. Let's see how we're measuring up to the sketch. Let's see. So yeah, pretty close, hey? And look at how nicely, once everything's on here, how nicely the like distressing and everything on the wood grain goes with this Vicki Boutin color study. Isn't that kind of cool? Okay, so I am going to adhere down my photos and then I'm going to choose a title. I think I'm just going to use one of the titles off of the chipboard sheet that I haven't touched yet. Because I'm crazy like that. Yeah, audiobooks to your Kobo. Oh, okay, yeah. That's cool. And Libby works on that too, hey? That's interesting. What does my brother drink? All the things probably. I'm not really sure. He's an actor type. Yeah. I think he's been plenty of the characters from Shakespearean shows. What color are you inking on the side? Yeah, just the same black because it had that white core that was kind of showing through, so I put ink on it. Because when I flipped it, it was that. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I did put the black soot distress ink on the edges just to make sure that it wasn't showing that white core. Or the white paint in this case, like this one had white paint on the edges. How did they have that? It was kind of centered. Yeah, my brother actually has worked in the theater industry for a long time, and he, well, all of our adult lives actually, and he has been called back to Shakespeare so often, and it just, sometimes when I think about it, it just makes my heart feel so happy because he's such an interesting dude. He didn't learn to read until he was like older, you know, like he struggled in school and just, yeah. So the fact that he like memorizes that stuff and loves it and enjoys it, just, it's a marvel to me. Just shows how important it is to have like good supports in place. Okay. There is my photos. What was I going to do? Oh, title. So I have these titles too. There's an idea. Today was do all the things. Just be happy is a good one. How about all this happiness? That's cute. I like that. Sorry, I'm gonna work really hard at I've done good so far, not coughing at you guys. I was sick on the weekend and it's still lingering. So annoying. I did take cough syrup before I went live, so. And I did get a hot tea on my way home. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to put that there. Just going to gently lay it down first. See how I like it. Yep. Okay, and then my journaling, where did I put that? So here's my confession today. My husband thinks I'm spoiled, and in some ways I suppose that's not wrong, and was sending me all kinds of memes about what a diva I am because my printer died. And okay, I bought that printer for like 20 bucks on Marketplace and it has lasted me a while. And it's fine, but I really, really want this printer from Epson. It's a large format printer. It does 4 photos. So like I could print 8 by 10 photos on there if I wanted to. I could print 12 by 12 papers on there if I wanted to. And I know I love my printer. I'm like not happy. So look what I had to do. I hand wrote my journaling. Oh my gosh. And it's not that I don't like my handwriting. That's not why I type my journaling actually most of the time. It's because I want to fit everything that I want to say, and I'm a bit wordy, which is why I have no trouble coming on here and talking to you guys for a whole hour. And I want it to fit in the spot. You know what I mean? So like I have a spot and I want all of my words to fit in it. And when I write, my writing is kind of big, so it doesn't fit. But check out this old school tool that I brought out because I also don't have an eye for straight. Who remembers the 1990s of scrapbooking? I had a journaling genie. And so I used these lines to draw my lines so that my words were straight. Yep, true story. I don't know when I would have gotten this in, like maybe 1999, maybe 2000. So turn of the century tool right there. So anyways, yeah, I could have said a lot more about this if I had my printer. Anyways, the printer I want is like, it's almost $1,000. And so I was like, what are you getting me for Christmas? And he's like, not that, dear Lord, what the heck? Yeah, anyways. You still have those templates, Shauna? Yeah, and I really like them. And when I don't have a lot to say, it's fine to, like, you know, write my journaling or whatever. But yeah, I haven't used them in such a long time because I don't usually write more than like a line at a time. And then I was like, ugh, okay. Going back to the basics here. So yeah, I just grabbed a scrap of white cardstock and drew my lines in pencil and then wrote my little journaling, and then I erased the pencil lines. So that's how that fancy tool works. Black Friday sale from Epson. I don't know, maybe. There is a refurbished one on their website that's closer to $7.50. So I don't know. I think I might just have to save for it and use my handwriting in the meantime and not be such a whiny pants about it. So I'm thinking my journaling will go right there. I think. And then I want some embellishments. So what do I want for embellishments? Well, in the journaling, in the sketch, she has some embellishments right here, which is cool, but I think I'm gonna want a little bit more than that. I'm thinking like some here, and some over here. So let's see what we got. Let's start big, because we should always, when you're embellishing, you always want to start with the bigger things. So since I have the chipboard out, let's look at that. And it has gold foiling on it, so I'm sorry again if it glares, even though I took it out of the package. So none of those are really... Here, this one, my happy place. That'll be cute. It's all about her little toy room, or her toys in general, being with her toys. There we go. Now, what if I used these arrows to bring in like all the colors? Maybe I don't need anything there. Something like that. What about these little tabby things? Let's see, what do they say? Love this. Around here, or currently. I have trouble using currently, but that would be cute on here, I think. But where to put it? Currently my happy place? Maybe. My happy place currently? Good thing chipboard doesn't stick very well, hey? That would have been all up on my photo. I think I want to mat this in something. Maybe just black would be fine. Have a little... There we go. I feel like I want 3, but then like I don't know. I don't know. This is like the hardest part for me, is putting all the little things on, because I want all the things and I can't always have all the things. Which, as I just pointed out, saying that I want the very expensive printer. I don't like it when I can't have all the things. Then I was thinking, I do have like these little puffies, but I think I'm just going to use the ones from here, because there's plenty of color in them. I also have this like whole sticker book. Holy smokes, hey? That's the problem with wanting all the things, is then you do have all the things, and what are you going to do with all of the things? Are you going to use all the things? I should use all the things. I'm going to use one of these cute little tabby things. Clips, paper clips. And these ones weren't from Color Study, but they were in here. Must be from Color Kaleidoscope. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to glue some of this down. So this one seems to have stuck pretty good. So I'm going to leave that. This one's going to need a little TLC. And struggle with that. There we go. This one I'm gonna put the glue on the top and adhere it to the actual journaling block. And then this one, I'm pretty sure I want it there, so it's gonna go down. And then this one on top. There we go. That's pretty cute, hey? So then I'm thinking that I really like these little hearts too that are in the sticker sheet. And I could probably incorporate one in each of my little clustery bits. Now remember, and I think I say this in all of my videos, but when you're doing clusters and putting your layout together, make sure you're looking to see if that little leprechaun can make his way around the page without falling in the cracks, right? So that's how we know our layout is cohesive, if everything is kind of touching. Judy, are you still here? I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Judy's coming to my class on Saturday. Okay, so now I want to add some little things from this puffy sticker sheet, because it has, that is one of the beautiful things about Vicky and Shamel and Paige, those designers at American Crafts that actually scrapbook with their own supplies. They really think about things like having these little dots available, you know, filling in all the gaps when they're creating a collection or like a sticker sheet, or I really think, I feel like that makes such a difference, especially when I'm making a choice to purchase something and I'm like, that's gonna go a really long way. Look how long like these supplies have outlasted all the papers. Mind you, I didn't buy all the papers. It was not my favorite of all favorites. Oh no, I didn't want a heart, I wanted the dot. Okay, so the last thing that I want to do is to stamp my date. Where's my date stamp? Here it is. And this was not any specific day. She's wearing different clothes in all the photos. It was just like kind of collection of photos, but it was all in September of 2021. So that's what I put onto my date stamp, is September 2021. And I'm just gonna stamp the date right down here. So I have my photos, my journaling, my date, and all my embellishing. So I think that is my layout for today. Now, as always, I will take a photo of this and post it in the Create Crew group. I have linked both the Create Crew and the, what are they called? Sketch and Scrap groups on here. I think that you have to answer some questions to get into the Sketch and Scrap group, so just make sure you do that. It just to check, make sure you're a crafter and not like a spam person. And that's about it. So how did I do for time? Oh, pretty close. Not bad, not bad. I'm at an hour. Yay me. Thanks, Paula. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out. We will go live again next Tuesday. I haven't decided what I'm going to use yet, though. So thanks, Kathy. Good to see you here, too. Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to use yet. Joe and I haven't had a chance to chat about that, but we will add it to the post here pretty soon. Okay. Thanks, Shauna. Yeah, you too. Okay. Have a great night, everybody. Bye for now.